record now. I've done these where I've had great conversations and interviews and then realized we forgot to record. So that's always been fun.
Nice. Yes, we're recording now.
We're recording now.
Okay, great.
So this is chatting with friends about how to win friends and influence people.
Yeah.
Breaking down Carnegie, sort of one of the first self-help books written in 1936.
Yeah.
That is one of the most read books ever, but can be a little bit inaccessible to folks. So I think it's really great to talk to leaders and awesome people like you to kind of make this more impactful and a little bit less disingenuous. This one I think is also like, it says principle, it's part 2, principle 1, become genuinely interested in other people, and it sounds manipulative and creepy, right?
Yeah.
So, but I know that you do it so well. I mean, I really admire you as a consultant, as a business owner. I've kind of seen you transition from the corporate world,
Yes.
and leader, and just like everything you do is just so heart-centered. I forgot to introduce. This is
Who am I?
Jen Damata, now Damata Consulting, but
Yeah.
formerly of Blue Mercury and Sports Authority.
Yeah.
Tell everyone.
Yeah, I'm Jennifer Damata. I run Damata Consulting, do consulting for e-commerce and digital marketing. I do a lot of strategic consulting as well. And I also led e-commerce and digital at Blue Mercury, Sports Authority, Hay Needle, Office Depot, and several others. I've had a good career, fun career. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
One of the reasons we've connected is just our mutual interest in mentoring and leadership. And I know you mentor a lot of young women.
Yeah.
So, I think this really resonates with you, and I think all of us, but you in particular, because I think you're just great at connecting with people. And, so can you talk a little bit about, whatever aspect you want to, either corporate or consulting or, mentoring, like how you use this technique? And
being genuinely interested in people means you really do have to be genuinely interested, right? I think what I originally saw was as you're genuinely interested in people, you're more influential, and the influence of yourself is what it shows how much of a leader you are, how much you can actually achieve at the end of the day, is if you can influence others. That's really just the main thing with great leaders, is to be a very influential individual. But how do you go about doing that? And it's a give and take, and it's actually more of a give on the leader's side, in my mind, is you really have to give to everyone else and show them how interested you are in them. Yeah. And I think that the reason I'm genuinely interested is I totally enjoy watching others succeed. I'm sure a lot of that was how I grew up. I mean, I grew up with the understanding that everybody is equal. Nobody has a right to deserve this or deserve that. Everybody has the same rights in this world. Everybody is the same in this world, no matter, where they came from. You and I were talking about that a little bit earlier. And it's unfortunate, some of the circumstances that people do end up going through, but the reality is none of us deserve more, and it's not that some people deserve more and some people deserve less. Yeah. We all deserve the same amount of whatever we can get out of this life.
Yeah.
And what I want to do is apply that by saying I would like to find people's strengths, because that makes them feel better about themselves. Then they're more productive. And as a team, we can produce a lot more.
Yeah.
And it's just a continuous positive circle. And you see, and I've seen it, that I'm a big proof in the pudding kind of person.
Yeah.
And I've seen it. When people feel good about themselves because you have recognized who they are, you have recognized what their strengths are, you have recognized what their passions are, you recognize where they like to lean, and you try to put them on the right side of the bus, which is usually what I do with each of these organizations. I'll come in and assess the people first. Mm-hmm. You and I have a common friend, Andrea, and Andrea says people before tasks. And it is true we're so into this world of thinking tasks are important, but really task is the result of making others feel like they can achieve the task.
Yeah.
You have to start with that. The root of the issue is, can you make people feel strong enough, confident enough to achieve the task? Not push them or brute force them into the task.
Yeah.
And then even deeper into that root is, do you understand the people enough to know what tasks each person can do? And the great thing about what I have found and what I try to hire to is, when you hire a team, your biggest thing is to find people with different strengths. If we all had the exact same strengths and the exact same weaknesses, we would not be functioning as humankind. I mean, the real benefit is that we all are so incredibly different. So you take that benefit, and if you're a person who feels like you have to live and die by being successful, well, then this is the first step.
Yeah.
You have to find people around you and you have to understand those people around you, and you have to lift those people up. Because the reality is you're only lifted up as a leader when you've lifted those individuals up. Yeah. And if you don't come across any of this in a genuine or authentic way, like a true desire to lift others up, it all doesn't work. It's like, feeding some sort of like crappy stuff to your plants when all you had to do was just give them water. It's not a hard thing to do. It takes thought, but it's not difficult.
I think it is hard because I think it requires humility. It's hard for some people. I don't think it's hard for you. You're like, this is easy. This is not easy, because if you look at our business world, this doesn't happen.
Humility is hard to come by, I have to say. In my experience, I have not found a lot of humility, and I think that's a lot of my how I was raised, is to be really humble.
And I think
and I'm a big believer in it.
Well, that's something we both have in common. I think we both have working class backgrounds. You prove yourself. You grind it out. You show up. You do the work. And I know you've had some, going through the army and having a child early and being a single mom. I don't know if that's okay to bring up.
Yeah. Of course.
I
bring it up all the time.
I was brought up by a single mom, so I know firsthand what that's like.
Yeah.
So, but it sort of gives you this working class sort of ethos, which I love, and I think I respond to that, and I think it's that humility that this I'm not entitled to anything because I'm going to prove myself, and that's great. I love that.
The other tip I would give to show that you're genuinely interested is the triple L effect. The look, listen, and learn. Okay. Many people are, waiting in a room with their team. Maybe you're in a meeting, maybe you're you're somewhere with a group of people. And most often you can see these people, they're waiting to say what they need to say. They're not really looking, listening, and learning.
I've been guilty of that.
We're all guilty of that. We're all guilty. But sometimes, you take these tips and you're like, okay, I'm going to restart myself, and I'm going to do that this week. I'm going to do a little bit more look, listen, and learn. So I would say that's a big tip, especially.
Right on your hand.
Yeah.
Look, listen, learn.
Look, listen, and learn. Because it is hard to do these days. Yeah. But you will never genuinely understand people and then genuinely be able to put them in the right place where they feel they are just maximized to their strengths unless you look, listen, and learn.
That's step number 4, apparently, on the Damata method, which happens to be
Maximize, yeah.
Going back to something, so one of my tricks is I write things down because I get so inspired, and I'm learning to shut up because I want to just be like, you inspired me, blah. And, but one of the things that that you said that inspired me is you were talking about the leader needs to speak less, and I think that's as we transition from individual contributors to more leadership roles in whatever type of team. Like I've been on sports teams, right? That's a transition because when you're the team, part of the team, when you first get on the team, it's all about proving yourself. But then as you sort of move up and you become more on the team, it's starting to let go of yourself and put the team above yourself. So that's an interesting transition too.
Yeah.
Do you coach people through that?
I think what that is your innate desire to prove yourself because you think you're unproven. Part of that is going through, just a tip, is going through an interview process to see if, because the right cultures are not going to make you prove yourself in the first 30 or 60 days. The right cultures, the ones that they're genuinely interested in you. It works both ways, right? People also have to be genuinely interested in you. And the right cultures wouldn't make you do that, so that you had the space and the capacity to just look, listen, and learn of others. I actually work with a client right now, and I was playing the interim head of eCommerce, and they just hired the head. So I'm working with that individual, and that individual was also under the belief that in the first 30 or 60 days, well, what happened is his team was like, hey, I'm here. What about me?
Yeah.
You haven't understood what I do. And so I'm helping him kind of backtrack and say, your first step is to look, listen, and learn with each team member that you currently have in the position that you just came into. And now after 2 weeks, they're feeling so much better about this leader. But yeah, I mean, it's critical. It's critical to leadership success to really be interested in what people love to do and where their strengths are. And you have to be really interested. To be a great leader, you have to be very interested in seeing people succeed.
Yes, I love that. I think that might be the key takeaway. I've been trying to figure out what nugget there is.
I think it is. You have to feel like the end result is not seeing yourself succeed, but seeing others succeed. And if you see others succeed, I promise the right C-level group or the right founders, whoever's at the top, they'll take notice to that.
Okay.
You will be indispensable at that point. Everybody else is dispensable.
Okay.
Yeah. So they, soft skills make you indispensable. Hard skills make you dispensable.
Interesting.
So if you try to get stuff done, a lot of people can get stuff done, but you could be the anomaly, you could be the linchpin. Seth Godin, right?
Yeah.
The linchpin if you hone in on your soft skills.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a lot and great stuff. Is there anything else you want to add before we hit?
No, I think I'm good. Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to hang out with you.
I know.
And thanks for being here, guys.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.